And I thought to myself, okay, something has to change. So I slowed down, did the things that I knew how to do with my training and my expertise and all of this. Well, you would think I would get the message, but around the year mark, I was like, woohoo, I'm ready to rev back up, right?
No.
Yeah. And 3 months later, on New Year's Eve, I was hit by a drunk driver.
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become their favorite versions of themselves and to strive for overall health by healing their relationship to food and exercise, healing their relationship to their body, and most importantly, healing their relationship to themselves, all without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who have been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time someone shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. Well, welcome to the Unveiling the Beast podcast. Can you tell me and the listeners a little bit about who you are and why you think you are who you are?
Hey, yeah, so I'm Jen Yundt Coles. I'm the SIBO coach. I'm a functional medicine health coach, and I like to help guide my fellow go-getters and high-achieving women overcome chronic digestive dysfunction. I am also a mama to two adult children now who are both moving away to college in a couple of weeks. So pray for my mama heart. And I'm also an aspiring rocker. I play guitar and sing. I'm a home renovator. I'm a gluten-free baker. I'm a busy person, but I'm also someone who is now internalizing the idea of slowing down and giving myself a break so that I can continue my own personal healing journey and reflect that and guide my clients to do the same.
Mm,
So glad to be here.
that's cool. I relate to well, the kids going off to college thing. I don't relate to that yet because my son's only 8, but every time he's got like a milestone in his life, I'll go, I'm not ready for you to go to college. And he goes, Mommy, I'm only 8. And last time it was Mommy, we've talked about this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hold on
Yeah.
tight because, oh my gosh, Katie, it goes by so fast, so
Mm.
fast. And I knew this day was coming. They're really close in age. One stayed home to go to community college, and the other one went away to college but came home after a semester. So they've
Mm.
been home for the past 6 months, and now I'm just like, oh my gosh, now they're both leaving.
Ah,
So it's a transition for sure. Like just
yeah.
understanding that next phase of what my life is going to look like too, because I'm not going to be momming, like on a daily
Yeah.
basis, and trusting that I've given them the tools they need to blossom and fly away into their own futures. And uh, it's heavy on my heart because I love being with my children. They're the most amazing, imaginative, creative,
Mm.
fun-loving, adventurous people, and it's kind of crazy, like having adult children.
Yeah. Uh, I feel for my mom.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely changes,
Yeah.
right? The perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about gut health. You said that you work with like high achieving women and talking about their digestion. Like, how are the two related? Because I know from experience trying to be the go-getter hustle culture, go, 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 never rest,
Yeah.
that it completely messes with your physical being and your physical health. So tell me a little bit about like maybe some patterns you see in the women that you work with and how the one thing affects the other thing.
Yeah, so that's such a juicy, loaded question.
I know.
Um, so it can show up in so many ways, right? But I like to say things like, sometimes we feel burned out because there may be something going on in our environment or some pressure that we're putting on ourselves or old stories that we might have of expectations or standards that we need to meet, or maybe it's a relationship that's burning us out, right? And all of those sort of mental, emotional things can definitely take a toll. But what I see in my practice, I'm looking through it a different lens, right? I see all of those things when I'm looking at the person in front of me that I'm working with. But what I'm also thinking about is how is this, uh, you know, is it actually their biology that's kind of burning out, right? And like, let's look at mitochondria and what's affecting that. It's likely something going on in the gut. I never like to say everything is or anything is 100%, but when we're ever having some sort of physiological issue or even mood imbalance or sleep impairment or energy production or low libido, I'm going to ask myself, okay, what's up with this person's gut? What's up with their nervous system? Or how are they handling stress, whatever kind of stress that looks like? And, how are they internalizing that? How are they carrying that? Are they neglecting it or themselves? And so I'm looking at them through sort of that biological functional medicine lens of like, how can we get to figure out what the root cause is and get to the solution rather than constantly, putting band-aids on things or
Yeah.
handing. I mean, I'm not a prescriber in my practice. I don't write prescriptions, but there's a lot of. I think you had a recent guest. I think her name was Tammy. She was recent. She was talking about gut and anxiety, and I totally resonated with that. She told a story about how she went to her doctor, and they just wanted to give her antidepressants and send her on her way. And I've been in that place, and so that's part of my mission and my passion is to create that space for women to be able to talk about all the things that may be going on, that may be affecting their gut and then in turn affecting their brain and their function and their focus, and their drive and their ability to show up every day how they want to be, whether that's a mom or a CEO or a creative artist or whatever. So yeah, did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah. And I want to highlight the piece where you talked about band-aids and how we have a tendency to treat the symptoms rather than treat what's causing the symptoms. Like, you know, traditional medicine, we go to the doctor, we say, my toe hurts, and they're like, here's a pill for your toe, rather than let's figure out why your toe hurts, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that goes the same for emotional health too. Like I'm sad and I don't know why. Well, let's dig in and figure it out. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah,
when
and to your question, I don't think I answered this specifically, but you were saying like how does this show up for someone, right? So it could look like impaired sleep or, mood imbalances up and down, crying, at the drop of a hat or what's the expression? Drop of a pin, drop of a hat?
I like hat,
Yeah.
we'll take hat.
Hormone imbalances, like I said, I just did a podcast interview a couple weeks ago about infertility and its connection to the gut health and the microbiome. And just being able to like make decisions. Like we don't have that cognitive clarity that we need. It's like we're walking through a veil. We have that fog. I did a great summit call yesterday with a woman who was talking about sugar and its effect on the gut microbiome and in your fatigue and brain fog. All of these things are connected, and sometimes we, like you said, really isolate things in the conventional medicine world. Like, oh, I'm having this twitch in my eye, so it must be something wrong with my eye. Well, actually, it's probably a deficient level of magnesium in your body, and that has to do with how your gut is assimilating those nutrients, right? So
Yeah.
asking better questions for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I talk about this a lot, like with even like how all our body systems are connected, and I bring up quite often the kinetic chain in our bodies, where like you could have pain in your ankle, and it could actually be caused by a pinched nerve in your shoulder, and but we're treating the ankle, right? And
Right.
so it's like we have to remind ourselves that everything is connected, and
Yes.
even all of the thing can't think of the word, but the holistic health, the sleep, the nutrition, the all of that, that's all connected too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I do say that a lot in practice too. Like someone's coming for me because maybe they found out they have SIBO, which by the way, for your audience is SIBO and stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And I'll just say really quickly that a lot of us are getting these sort of generic lame diagnosis for IBS symptoms, irritable bowel syndrome, like having gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, things like that. Well, it turns out that SIBO is likely probably between 60 and 80% the reason for those symptoms. So it's time to
Mm,
dive a little bit deeper and get some maybe testing or working with someone who understands what SIBO is. But my point was, I tell people all the time, you're coming to me for help with this, strain of bacteria that's become a bully in your small intestine. But the reality is you aren't just your small intestine. Everything else is going to be connected in our conversations. And so I like what you said. Yeah, your shoulder, your pinched shoulder, it could be what's going on with your toe. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Mm. So tell me, is there like a like a commonality between all your clients? I mean, other than the messed up gut, do they have any other the messed up gut?
Messed up gut, ladies, line up.
Yeah, woo.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good question. I think one commonality is, how sometimes you attract people that are like you to your practice, right? So
Yeah.
I see a lot of women who get caught in like the perfectionist protocol way of thinking, who tend to sort of be really hard on themselves if they can't follow a plan exactly 100% right or be compliant that way, really hard on themselves. I also see a lot of women in my practice who are not only high achieving types who are going after goals constantly, but also a little bit of people pleasing and not putting themselves first, putting everyone else first. Very common thread. And I would say also, really interestingly, I don't know if you've talked about traditional Chinese medicine on your show or if you've had experience with it, Katie, but we have these energetic meridians and they're connected to our organ systems and how they operate. And in my studies before I became a functional medicine coach, I was learning about how the heart is connected to the small intestine energetically. And so I find that after spending some time with someone and creating this space for them to share, we may be talking about gut health or something else, their workplace or their relationships. It eventually comes out that there's something else they've been holding on to. And so either had a hard time letting go or trapped in sort of a grieving cycle or really heartbroken for some reason and haven't been able to process those things and let them go or move through them. And, our body keeps score. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but it's amazing.
I've heard of it. I
Yeah,
haven't read it yet, but I've heard of
I
it. Yeah.
highly recommend it. But yeah, our cells hear everything we're saying to our, saying out loud to ourselves. Our cells store this information. It becomes part of our DNA, like trauma and experiences and it can be positive, but it can also be negative. And so that's definitely a
Yeah.
common thread. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be open
Very
and
good question.
transparent. I'll be open and transparent. My thing was guilt. I was holding on to guilt for over a decade, and that was
Yes.
messing with everything. And like I think guilt in particular, it's so isolating, because
You don't want to share.
you don't want to share and you don't want to let go of it because that makes you a bad person because of this thing that you did or this person that you hurt or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like that was a tough one. So I just wanted to share that because I try to be open with the listeners.
Yeah. I'm
But
glad
that's
you
a
did
big
share
one.
that. Shame and guilt for sure are big causes for chronic illness.
Hmm.
Oftentimes I see those things show up as things like chronic body pain syndromes or headaches and things like that, or even chest or heart palpitations.
Hmm.
But I do see it in digestive tract issues as well. Not as much as trauma or grief or loss or heartache, but definitely see them showing up in the body in different places for sure. Yeah. And I'm I'm hoping that I'm hearing that that you've moved past that. You said you dealt with it for 10 years. So what is that looking
Yeah,
like now for you?
I feel great. I feel
Awesome.
lighter.
Awesome. Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just gotta vocalize it, journal it out, sing it out, whatever you gotta
Mhm.
do, right?
I did all of the above.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take like a hard left or right, whichever direction we can go up.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a story in your life where this event or thing that happened or situation kind of changed the entire direction of your life, or you had a moment where you're like, I'm not doing this anymore, or you had a moment where you were like, oh, this is how this thing works. Something that where your mindset shifted and your life went a different direction. And if you need a moment to think about it,
Yeah.
that's
No, I mean, um, this is kind of a hard question because I feel like in my life I've had a series of moments like this where the universe is literally like bonking me on the head, and telling
Mhm.
me and giving me this message of a reset or slow down or this is not the right path, right? And I'm such a stubborn person that I'll kind of listen for a little while, but then I'm just like right back to my old ways, right?
Yeah.
But I would say if I could share three things, and I'll just put them in a nutshell.
Hmm.
So the first one was several years ago when I was in my early 40s. After going, I was running a gluten-free bakery at the time, two elementary school kids, travel sports, trying to be the mom and the wife and all the things, and still dealing with digestive issues at that point. This is well before I got into what I'm doing now, and had some relationship issues as well in my marriage. And one day I was just out with my son and ended up having what they call Takotsubo myocardiopathy or myocarditis, and they call it broken heart syndrome.
Mm.
And it was like the full on heart attack, chest, back, arm, jaw, all the things. And, went to the hospital and did all that testing and all of that. And basically they kind of said to me, Jen, you need to let go on a vacation, right? And I wasn't going to hear that, but it was such a wake up call in that moment for me because I was like, oh my gosh, I could have lost my life here, right? Like I have heart disease in my family history and all of that, and realizing the toll that relationships, emotional, the go, go, go mindset was taking a toll on my body, the digestive issues as well, feeding into that. So, this is also why I love that whole connection between the heart and the small intestines, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, that was the first thing. And that even actually led me into functional medicine. So, that was kind of the catalyst for that.
Okay.
Then, two more sort of more recent events that I'll share and just being vulnerable and open is we moved into a new house. I was renovating the kitchen. I renovated this two-story house pretty much on my own over the last few years, running my coaching business, finishing up school, doing all the things with high school students. I mean, again, back in that same boat of go, go, go. And I had been having these episodes where I was feeling a little faint, but of course, just pushing through, right?
Right.
And one day I was up on a height, like about 12 feet up in my kitchen. We have really high ceilings here, working on the hood vent. And all I remember, I just blacked out, fell backwards, hit my head on the adjacent countertop, and passed out. And luckily, my son was there. Was home that day and found me and called 911. And that sent me into a year-long struggle of overcoming concussion and TBI symptoms. And it really rocked my world. And I thought to myself, okay, something has to change. So I slowed down, did the things that I knew how to do, with my training and my expertise and all of this. Well, you would think I would get the message, but around the year mark, I was like, woohoo, I'm ready to rev back up, right?
No.
Yeah. And 3 months later, on New Year's Eve, I was hit by a drunk driver and it sent me right back into concussion land. And so for the year of 2024, I basically slowed everything down. And that was the change. That was like the third strike and I'm out, right? And
Yeah.
and so that has been the final game changer, I think, for me. I saw my relationships change with people, which was very insightful. My gut microbiome started shifting as well. So diving in deeper to some different research, which is also just kind of a fun thing that I like to do. I'm kind of a geek that way. And understanding that I don't have to hustle anymore. And, that's not my mission in life. It's not to hustle anymore. And
Mm,
the mission is really to guide other women to figure that out. Yeah. So I think that 1, 2, 3 punch right there
yeah.
was the catalyst for me changing my life. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a question I want to ask, but I'm not quite sure how to word it, but I'm going to do my best.
Go for it.
How, how, hold on, let me see. What do you think the difference is in the way you feel and the way your mindset is now versus the last two times where this
Yeah.
happened? Like, was it the last two times, oh, I can't wait to get back to the thing, and now you're just like, F it.
Yeah. Well, way to call me out on it. But here's the difference. Um, well, yeah, and now I don't know how to put that into words, right? It feels different in my body. I feel like my language, my self-talk has changed. My activity every day looks different. Like when I wake up in the morning, I ask I'm giving gratitude for waking up, by the way, because
Yeah.
went through a period of time where I wasn't sure if I would wake up in the morning. Um, Asking what do I need today and how am I going to get it? That's one thing that has drastically changed. And I really stick to that. Today, I need to go on a long walk. Today, I need to play guitar for an hour. Today, I need to cuddle with my dog, whatever it is, right? And I do those things. I'm also a lot better at spacing my client calls apart so that I can have time in between to reset my own energy. I'm sort of empathetic that way, where I'll absorb other people's energy.
Yeah.
Um, it's different too because earlier this year I treated myself to a getaway and I went to the beach and I rented a tiny home and I stayed there by myself. And I went to art museums and I had my palm read and I played guitar and I went to the beach and I rode my bike and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually a really fun adventurous person." I kind of forgot after going through all of these things. And these are the things that bring me joy. And how can I incorporate these when I get back home and I'm living my regular life without slipping back into that old routine of go, go, go? And
Yeah.
I'm about 6 months in right now and I'm doing pretty good. So I'm going to give myself a little tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's important to practice what we preach. And, obviously, I don't want to show up as a hypocrite in my practice. So I'm making sure I'm, holding my feet to the fire and doing the things that I know I should be doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious too if I could throw that question back to you in a way, after you've kind of gone through some of your healing journey as well. Like, what are a handful of things, or even just 1 or 2 things that you're finding that keep you level-headed, moving forward,
Mm.
calm and confident?
I think the biggest piece is self-love, which took me 40 years to accomplish.
Yeah.
Um, I talk often about, because I'm in the health space, and listeners, you can go read my story on my website. I'll put the thing in the link. the thing in the link. I'll put the thing
The
in the
link
link.
and
You
the
guys know
thing.
what I mean. Um, but what's really shifted is going into my health adventure. I like adventure instead of journey from a place of love and acceptance versus going on a health adventure to change something I hate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, it was like I hated my body my entire life. And then with all of my coaching and therapy and all that, I've learned to go from hate to love hate to love to just love. This is me. This is what my body looks like. Let's see what I can do to take care of it so that I can possibly be on this earth longer and still, do things when I'm old. Like I still want to be
Yeah.
able to get up off the floor. Why do I deadlift? So that I can pick up my grandkids when I'm
Yeah.
eight. Suddenly in my head, I'm going to be 80 when I have grandkids. But you know what I mean? Like just changing the mindset of why am I doing all this? Why am I doing these things for my body? And it's my most of my life it's been to just shrink
Yeah.
because the message I got was you take up too much space, you're too fat, you're too much, you're not enough. And I am what I am. So
Yeah.
if you don't like it, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah,
And I love that now that you're doing the show too, because you're inviting other people to share their similar experiences from going from shrinking to shining, right? And just
yeah,
being the person that they want to be. Yeah, I love that. I love
yeah,
that. And I like what you said too. It's like sometimes we say self-love, right? And that can encompass so many things. But one thing that I've been saying to myself is being more self-loyal. I kind of figured out over many years, and it's kind of come to a head in the last couple of years, but just understanding that, wow, there was a lot of self-betrayal in there. And how can I get back to being more loyal to myself instead of outsourcing a lot of that power to other people? And so I
yeah,
think that was also part of my big letting go, but also expansion, right? And
yeah,
understanding how to be the best version of myself without killing myself.
yeah. And I even like saying like sometimes instead of best version, like my favorite version of me.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's more
Yeah.
playful. I have this element of fun in my coaching practice. I think fun is super important.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
it keeps us young, you know. Age is a
Yep.
number, like yeah. Anyway, youngness
Couldn't
here.
agree more. I could not agree
Yeah.
more. Yeah. Yeah, that's a conversation I'll have with my clients too. Like sometimes when people have been on a journey or adventure for a long time for their health, they forget about things that bring them joy, or they're not doing their hobbies that they used to love, or using their talents, right? And so we talk about joy activators and things that you can do, even small things during the day to sort of
Mhm.
help you reset so that you're not constantly
Yeah.
focusing on being sick or putting a label on yourself. And I think that really helps people kind of get through the roller coaster ride that something like SIBO can be. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's really important because when you get to the other side of that stuff, you want to be a new person. You want to be your favorite version of yourself. And I think it's important. I love that you incorporate fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Highly recommended 30-second dance parties just throughout your day.
Yes. Yes, for sure. I'm a huge fan of dance parties and singing really
Yeah.
loud, like in the car when no one else is around.
Yeah, I've been recently posting my car karaoke videos.
Ah, very good. I'm gonna have to go
on
check those out.
Okay, well those are actually on another channel. I started one with my husband called Guitar and the Beast, and then I have another one with my son called Desmond and the Beast. So that it's all
Uh-huh.
Beast themed.
Very
But
cool.
yeah, I just like, put my camera up and sing a song and then
I love it. I love it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
I started
fun.
taking voice lessons last year. I quit for a while just because it was one more thing on my calendar that I was just trying to figure out how to navigate. But
Hmm.
um, Yeah, activating your throat chakra for sure. And we need to express these things, right? No matter what
Yeah.
it looks like, spoken word, your feelings, a
Yeah.
conversation, singing a
Yeah.
song, whatever.
Go to Six Flags Magic Mountain on next to and scream your lungs out.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
that yesterday.
Speaking of fun, right?
Yeah. Well, I have one more question for you, and I ask at the end of every episode, and that is if the entire world stopped what they were doing and looked at you and said, Jen, please give me some advice, what would you say?
Yeah. Stop the world. Wow, that's a lot of pressure. But I
You're
would
welcome.
actually say, I'd probably say, stop outsourcing your intuition, right? Or your healing, whatever that looks like. You know, in my opinion, through the lens that I'm working through in my practice and in my personal life, I don't think the world needs more women learning how to manage themselves. I think we need more women who are actually metabolizing and processing and then reflecting, and then from that place, leading from a rich level of, you know, insight, wisdom, and healing themselves. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's
Oh,
just kind
yeah.
of came out.
Yeah, definitely.
Stop outsourcing your intuition. Yeah.
Mm,
I think sometimes we get caught up in all the other voices and the cooks in the kitchen telling
yeah.
us what we should and should do, should be, all these things. Yeah, it's time to kind of get back to ourselves. And I'll leave it at that.
Boom.
Yeah.
Beautiful beasts, Jen Yundt Coles signing off. Until next time.